Hey everyone, how's it going today? And welcome back to another third stimulus check unemployment benefits extension update. And welcome back, or welcome if you guys are brand new here, consider subscribing to join in. So we have a lot of relatively breaking changes that recently did just happen that I really want to talk about in today's video. We are probably going to be having a lot of different changes that have been going on, including some that recently just happened, so we're going to address that. But the big thing I really want to cover is that I want to really talk about what's currently been changed inside of the stimulus package. I want to talk a little bit about the unemployment numbers, which did recently come up, just really briefly to touch up. There is also something interestingly about a potential $10,000 stimulus that might be going to some people, very, very select people. But I kind of figured it, I kind of want to address it, especially because $10,000 is not, no joke money. I mean, I think that's a pretty extreme thing. Even though it might sound a little bit extreme, it'll make a lot more sense by the very, very end of it. But at this time, they are still currently going through a lot of the debates as we're currently speaking. They are about to go through their Vote-a-rama session. Now, there is one thing that came up that might maybe potentially delay it by about a day or two. We're going to talk a little bit about what it is. I kind of just wanted to give you guys an overview. So we're going to get started right away. But before we begin, make sure you smash the like button in light of a lot of the great news that has been happening. Consider subscribing and hitting the bell notification button for future updates on stimulus, especially true with a lot of changes that are potentially going to be coming up soon. If you guys are interested to get updates about that, especially over the next couple of days, and feel free to comment any questions, thoughts about honestly just really anything at all, or if you guys wanted to say hi, it's always great to see familiar and new faces as well. So that being said, let's get this video started. So when it comes to the unemployment numbers, I just want to take a very quick 1 minute to really touch up about the new claims that came out right here. So this last recent week, I know some people are wondering about it, but basically 745,000 people filed for the traditional unemployment. I think it's 696,000 filed for the PUA unemployment. So in total right now, we have about 1.2 million people that are basically pretty much joining us every single week right now. And I'm pretty sure the numbers was almost the same last week. I think it went up a little bit in Texas only because of the recent situation with like the weather, the power outage. Like, you guys probably know if you guys are in Texas. Feel free to comment what it's like there. But hopefully, I've heard it's been doing a lot better, but you guys probably know a lot more if you guys are currently in Texas. But so the general idea is that the numbers are still very, very high. And this is going to impact a lot of stuff with stimulus, because the higher these numbers stay, the even more likely they're going to be more generous, hopefully, if they're able to carry through with the unemployment programs. Now, there is actually, interestingly, one program that I think not a lot of people are talking about right now, but it's really about the EIDL grant that's going to potentially be put into the next stimulus. Now, the idea is that, like, what it is basically is that if you guys have been following it since, and this is something that actually happened like probably about last summer. If you guys remember about the EIDL program, basically the EIDL is basically a program that's supposed to give a lot of different small businesses extra money in order to help kind of support their business. Now, granted, even if you are not a business owner, chances are is that if you are at least potentially self-employed or have some kind of side hustle, you may actually even be able to use this to apply for it. I know, for example, back last summer, there were a lot of people that were able to use some kind of side hustle to even get just like $1,000 as an extra stimulus check. And this is stimulus, by the way, that you can keep. So it's something that you can totally just keep, just for yourself. There were people I know last year that kind of just applied and literally put down something as basic as they sold lemonade. Like, literally, that's literally how basic it is. Uber driving, DoorDash, lemonade stands, eBay, that's another great one. eBay, Amazon, Etsy, anything in that world. There's a lot of ways that you can actually kind of squeeze out, and I believe that they're trying to potentially open it up now to even more people. So there is a chance that you guys may be able to qualify, interestingly, actually, for that grant. Just not a lot of people think about it, because I think a lot of people assume that you have to be like the CEO of some kind of major corporation. If anything, they actually are trying to even lower the requirements actually to open it up to even more people. So they actually want to actually support smaller businesses, actually, if anything. So it's a potential grant that some people may be able to get, and this is up to something potentially up to $10,000. I think realistically most people will probably get closer to about $1,000 if they are managed to able to even qualify for it. But it's just something that's on the radar right now that I figured every single person, especially if you are self-employed employed or have some side hustle going should probably at least know about. Now, when it comes to the other parts of the stimulus package, we did also recently get news about certain things that are going to be changed. I'll probably just throw this up right here. But probably the most common sense one that I think most of us know that's going to be changed is that they are probably going to be removing the minimum wage. They are very, very likely going to be changing the income threshold. I talked a lot about that in yesterday's video, so definitely check that out if you guys are interested and haven't seen it already. It basically just talks a little bit about the potential changes that are going to be happening to who actually gets the stimulus check. Long story short is that there may actually be less people than we thought that may be able to get the next $1,400 stimulus check, but it'll make a lot more sense in that video. Feel free to check it out if you guys are interested. They are going to potentially change up, for example, like funding for certain projects. We talked a little bit about that yesterday, but basically about like a New York project, a California project that's going on. It really impacts you if you either work in the transportation industry or you just happen to live in the air, because they're about like infrastructure changes. So it's something that if you happen to just live in the air. But there is actually one really great news actually, and it's that because they might be saving some money there, they may actually be now redirecting the money. So they're actually going to be taking some of the money that they save from not doing those parts of the package, because keep in mind is that the budget bill has already been passed. So they already have the same exact amount of money. So everything that they cut out, they can actually take that money to fund something else. They may actually very much be planning to increase funding for things like hospitals. So if you work in the healthcare industry, broadband, FEMA programs, so for homeless people. Hopefully, people don't fall in there, but it is something that's going to potentially happen, because the eviction, situation is going to potentially really take a hit, especially when a lot of them start expiring. And interestingly, one is that they're hoping to do a little bit more of a balanced distribution of state and local government. So all this is that the money that they give out to states and local governments, they're going to basically just balance it out so that maybe smaller states can actually receive more money this time, and then larger states could hopefully receive the same exact amount of money. But beyond that is that they are going to be going into their Vote-a-rama session. If you're not familiar with what that is, all it really is that it's basically just a session where they sit down for a long time, a very long time, probably something, let's just say over 20 hours over an extended period of time, where they basically just sit down and they just talk about the package. They talk about what they want to add, what they want to take out. They just really debate. It's kind of just like a debate period where everyone just sits down and they try to make amends and changes. Now, there is maybe one lesser good news. I don't think it's going to be as significant at this time, but it is important to know about, and it's really that a lot of the Republicans right now are trying to actually, I guess you can say they're trying to make plans to sort of extend the Vote-a-rama session to really delay the actual voting. What they basically do is, and I'm sure if anyone has ever been involved in some kind of court case of some kind, it is a very common tactic that when people get involved in a court case of some kind, that they will sometimes just do a particular something, whether this means like dodging papers or just anything that they possibly can to just not even physically show up to court, to maybe potentially extend the case even longer. So Senator Ron Johnson, who is one of the Republican senators, he's trying to force out a 600-page reading. You might have even already heard about this over the news, but what this is that most of us probably know that the bill is incredibly long. I did make a couple videos already about that. If you guys are interested in learning about what's actually physically in the bill, I think the name of the video, there's actually 2 videos I think I made, and it's physically called The Official Bill. One talks about the stimulus side, one talks about the unemployment side. Normally what ends up happening is that all of them sit down and they really just, they do read the bill, but they often have people that kind of just summarize or read what the bill is going to be about to a lot of them, and they kind of can just take the time to kind of read it on their own. What Ron Johnson really wants to do is that he's trying to force every single person to read the entirety of the almost 600-page bill. Basically, think a little bit like a reading session. Everyone sits down and they kind of read along. I don't think anybody wants to read the bill. but it's just something that I think he's trying to really force out for two reasons. The first is because I think he wants to, at least to him, he's trying to justify that one of the reasons is that he wants people to really understand what's actually physically in the bill word for word, but also because by doing such a thing, it's going to potentially actually delay it. I think it's going to potentially maybe just delay it by only just one extra day. However, if they catch something going on inside of the reading, it maybe will get extended, even, let's just say, something longer than a day. I don't think it looks likely, but it is something to really potentially be on guard and prepared for. But beyond that is that they are going to be going into their Vote-a-rama session. We're going to be finding out a lot of news over the next couple of days, so definitely consider subscribing if you guys haven't done so already and you're interested in getting updates about that. We're going to see what else potentially gets changed. I just figured I really want to cover where we currently stand because there is a lot of breaking news that's already been happening and potentially even more to come right now. So with that being said, that's what I really wanted to share in today's video. I also do want to actually also give you guys a huge thank you to every single person who comes by to really show their support. We recently just hit 9,000 subscribers, so it is relatively surreal to really be able to think about. So huge thank you to everyone who basically, because I think it really is a lot of the people that really create the community to really keep it alive and active and going. So just a really huge thank you to every single person there. So with that being said, that's what I really wanted to cover. Hopefully you guys found some insight. Remember to smash the like button if you guys haven't done so already. Consider subscribing and hitting the bell notification button, and feel free to comment any questions, thoughts about honestly just really anything at all. And with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay well, and I hope to see you guys next time. Thank you guys so much again.